Hello? I can't hear that though, right? It's going out into the world.
They can hear. Yeah, they can hear now.
These people?
No.
Just those people. Okay. Be chosen one. I have to remember to repeat the question now, right? Since they can't hear the question.
That is correct.
No, this is the Mercedes I did, not the Mercedes. Yeah.
Can you? It's warmer here though than it is over there. I'm closer to the fireplace. Hey. Hey, woman. Holy shit, what'd you do? Fall down? What did you do?
He had surgery.
Oh, okay. So are you going to Katie's party like that tomorrow?
I thought I said Katie. I don't think I can go, but I'll see how I look tomorrow.
It makes my eyes water. I'm not gonna, it's very sensitive. It just looks like it hurts.
We'll just have a fireside chat with us today.
Okay. Perfect. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's just do it.
Good morning. Good morning. You ready for our fireside chat with Avis?
Yeah. It's much warmer up here than it is out there.
So what's going on?
I don't know. What are you guys doing?
Well, no, we're just happy you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. So anything we need to know about?
I think I've talked about every lawsuit that I'm worried about right now.
Okay, good.
Alrighty. Julie?
Okay, I haven't been to these in a while. What's the deal that we have to, you probably, this is a repeat, I know it is.
It's okay.
What's the deal that we need to start using the Trek seller's disclosure?
Okay, so...
I saw on Facebook that you're gonna tell us later and I never saw it later.
Okay, let me repeat that question for the audience who's not in the room.
People in TV land.
I couldn't figure out how to say it.
There you
TV
go.
land, okay. Julie asked, what's the deal about switching from the TAR, the ABOR seller disclosure, to the Real Estate Commission seller disclosure? And actually, that's sort of true. There's a lawsuit going on. That's not with us, so that's a good kind of lawsuit in my world, that to learn from somebody else's mistakes. But in the Dallas area, high dollar property, TAR seller disclosure, the seller checked the properties in the floodplain, failed to provide the other document that's a TAR document that gives more information about the floodplain. That which is not required by the property code, only required by the TAR disclosure. Buyer's agent asked listing agent during the process for a copy of it. Seller didn't provide it. Didn't provide it originally, was asked for it, didn't provide it. Property closes, buyer has whatever personal reason they have, and I'll tell you what that is in a minute because it kind of shows how. Just because you made a mistake, that might give somebody who has another reason the way to get out of something, okay? So the buyer hires an attorney, sues the seller because they failed to provide the additional floodplain information. And the claim was, had they known that, whatever that additional information was, they probably wouldn't have closed on the property. Well, the real story is, doesn't matter, but the real story is the buyer is a high-profile sports figure who was traded after the closing to another sports team in another city and needed his money back. And the way to do that, of course, is to sue the real estate company, the seller, and everybody else. And so that's ongoing. There was a lower court that ruled in the buyer's favor, and then there was an appellate process, and 2 of the judges agreed with the lower court, and the 3rd judge said, no, that form is not required by the property code, it's required by a trade association, and it should not be a reason to be out, because the seller did in fact tell you that you were in the floodplain. They just didn't give you this other information. So in my head, depending on what the ultimate result of all, because it's still going through the system, depending on that, it might be that we need to quit using the seller disclosures that disclose so much more than is required by the property code, and just use the one that is the minimum standard required by the property code. So in lieu of that, for the moment, compliance has been told, if you get TAR ABOR, do not approve the file. If one of those places that it says attach another form, like floodplain and septic and maybe endangered species, survey, do not approve the file unless those additional documents are provided. So I may go hard line on it. Right now we're kind of accepting those 2 with the proper other documentation, and we're accepting the TREC one. I'm fearful of this. I've been fearful of this for a long, long time. I don't know, Jeanette and I may have even engaged in conversations about this years ago when TAR first came out with their seller disclosure, and I know I engaged with lawyers in both the Real Estate Commission and the Trade Association side saying, what liability do you give to brokers when you create a seller disclosure that's more than the property code requires? And of course, Trade Association lawyers say, no, this protects you. They're still saying that. This protects you, this protects you. I said, well, I don't know. I'm not sure it's protecting those brokers in Dallas right now.
Well, when I got that on
So that's
when
the
I
genesis
got
of
that
all
on
this.
Facebook, I started teaching. When I teach that form, I tell them that the TREC form is the preferred one to use.
Well, and I think you say, what you can also say is if you're going to use the trade association form and it requires additional documentation, be sure that you're doing the additional documentation.
Okay.
What's your recommendation if you've had a property on the market since before this kind of came out?
I think we're fine as long as you,
leave it
yeah,
as
I didn't draw a hard line in the sand. I thought about it. I talked to Scott about it. We talked about it. Mary and I kind of decided, let's just kind of wait and kind of teach this and talk about the importance of the additional disclosures. And then once we have either a Supreme Court decision or the judges get through, because they've been asked for I forget the legal terms, but like a second look at it, because the 2 judges that agreed didn't agree with they didn't both agree on the same points. And so that gives you some sort of right in an appellate court, and I'm not a lawyer, to ask for them to hear it again or look at it again or whatever. And they may just say, no, it's all like we said. Then they'll have to go Supreme, assuming that the broker's willing to spend that money and all that other kind of stuff. So that one, we're kind of watching it and trying to see what we're going to do. Yes, ma'am.
On the water district notices.
Yep.
So if I've got the buyer, I go ahead, when I look at the appraisal district website to see which water district we're in, I go ahead and have them sign that notice when we submit the offer. What I'm struggling with is getting the seller's agent to have the seller sign it and
Yep.
send it back.
If we can,
If the seller
go
does
ahead.
not sign it, does that give the seller an out in the contract?
I don't think it gives the seller an out. I think it gives the buyer an out.
It's
But I'd
just
have
the
to.
buyer.
I'd have to read it
Okay.
for sure. And for those of you in TV land, that was a question about the water district notice and whether or not if a buyer signed it and sent it with their offer and the seller refused to sign it, would that give the seller an out? And the real answer is I'd have to look for sure on the property code and tell you that. What do you know, Julie?
Could you attach it to other forms and write it in as to make it part of the contract or part of the offer?
I guess y'all talked about it last week. You talk about that lawsuit or the way out of the contract in Lake Travis on a high dollar property because they didn't do that in a timely manner. Yep.
Yeah.
Back to the seller's disclosure, is it your preference when we have a listing to use the trade form?
Probably, in the grand scheme of things, probably because it's the. Are you and I would tell you also, TAR has another form that I don't remember what it's called, but it's not anything anybody signs. It's like everything we think we ought to tell you that you might not know. What is that form? You know, general. That's it. Thank you. It does. Okay. Yeah, that maybe we use that too. I hate to say that because I really hated it when they came out with that because I feel like sometimes the more information we give people is the more ways to stand in front of a lawyer and make something up. Pat.
They put a comma in the wrong spot.
When we're using additional or some money on a backup, where is the right place to explain that?
You mean you're going to do a little bit now and a lot more later?
Yeah, but the part in the contract doesn't.
It doesn't give you that choice. Yeah, it doesn't give you that choice. I think the buyer would have to decide where they wanted to put that.
Okay.
Since you're not an attorney, and I'm not an attorney. Yes, ma'am?
Could the buyer decide to put it in special provisions?
They could, or on a separate piece of paper.
There you go.
Back to the seller's disclosure, I've had my client, since he put his house on the market, do some modifications to the house, some repairs, and so it changes the seller's disclosure.
You update
Is
it.
it okay to keep updating it?
Yep.
And providing them with a new one?
Yep.
Okay.
You had a question, Cheryl. Let's talk about your
First, yeah.
situation.
Questions. So we had a closing last week. Everything was copacetic. We get to the closing table. At the closing table, they're like, oh, by the way, the buyer is entitled to a $1,500 credit from the seller, AKA the builder, because this is a new build, new construction. And we're like, great. In special provisions, it does say specifically that the purchase price is contingent upon seller paying a maximum of $1,500 for discount points and or closing costs.
Okay.
End of sentence. I mean, that's one sentence. So who am I to question if the builder wants to give them $1,500? Then so be it. So they cut them a check for $1,500. Later that day, we get our commission check less the $1,500. Now, the builder paid 3% commission plus a $3,000 bonus, and we had already agreed to give our buyers $1,500 of the $3,000 bonus, which we have the paperwork for that. But the second $1,500 they've taken, and they've said that they've done what they've done, and I just have to ask my clients back for the money.
Oh, wow.
I think we can go to arbitration.
Was there a lender?
Yes.
What did the lender think of a?
So everything had been approved and had gone through whomever, and we're dealing with the builder's representative, and
Who's a broker?
I don't know if she is or not.
It's an MLS.
Their broker is it's Perry Homes.
But the property's in MLS, and the bonus
Perry
is
Development Management.
and the bonus is in MLS.
Yes.
So they paid the bonus, but they took out $1,500.
No, looking back onto the new paperwork, the settlement statement that came with the check, it only shows our bonus is $1,500, not $3,000. And this was after the fact.
I think we're going to arbitration against the broker.
That'll be done through DABOR, right?
No, it will be done through TAR
Okay.
because they handle all code of ethics stuff.
What they keep telling us is,
No, we're going to
back and
arbitration.
forth, is that statement was our $1,500 contribution. I was like, but it doesn't say. It says the seller. It doesn't say.
We're going
the
to
buyer's
arbitration.
agent.
That's fine. We're going to arbitration. Just tell them we're going to arbitration. See you there. I will. If you'll send me an email with all of the names of the broker and everything, I'll request a package from TAR and we'll start the process.
Okay.
Kim?
Can we talk about buyer's walkthrough form, please?
Okay. What about it?
When is it required? I'm not always asked for it. If I'm the listing agent, do I demand it?
That'd be a good, well, you can't demand it. The seller could request that you demand it.
If I'm the seller, do I demand it? If I'm the seller agent, do I?
The seller could say to you, I think we should have the walkthrough form because it protects me some, and I sure would like you to get that from them. You could coach them at the listing presentation about that form, take it with you to the listing presentation, and say, this is a form we might want to have. What?
Oh, really?
Oh, wow, absolutely.
If I'm the buyer,
Why not? Can we pull that form up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, is it okay if I turn the fire off?
It's getting pretty hot.
Okay.
Which form?
Buyer's walkthrough and acceptance form.
It's in dot loop, right?
TAR, I don't have any idea what's in dot loop.
I think it's in dot loop. I'll pull it up there.
Is it in dot loop, the form?
it is, yes,
I wouldn't know.
buyers walkthrough.
An acceptance form. Isn't it called an acceptance form, or do they take that of it? Yeah. That's,
How many people use that?
I don't know.
Does everybody?
I think we should be using it.
On both sides, because if you're the buyer,
You're not
they don't
giving up
require
anything.
it.
How do you feel about protecting your, you know what?
I'm not arguing with you, I want to.
Okay, okay,
But,
okay.
if I'm a buyer and they don't require it, that absolves them of,
I'm not, nothing absolves anybody of anything.
So you take that form with you?
Yes.
When you,
Yes.
have you walked through? I know, but no, are you taking it with you when you meet the buyer?
Yes.
And say, okay, this is one of the forms that we're going to sign?
When we finish the walkthrough, we already have it loaded on our .loop, and we send it to them through our phone.
Do you have to pay something for that?
What's that?
I have a hard copy, I'll take it.
so I guess what I'm asking is, what's the advantage to the
Yeah.
buyer?
Well, let's look at it. That's why I want to see it.
I think clarity is always an advantage on both sides.
I agree.
Well, if the buyer, well, it showed that the buyer actually had a walkthrough. If the buyer doesn't have a walkthrough and they don't use that form, and then they go in after closing, there's something wrong with it, like the carpet is dirty during move out.
Can the people in TV land see this?
They should be able to.
Good. Can we just look at it?
There you go.
Okay. Okay, let's read it. Buyer's walkthrough and acceptance form, which first of all, I like that, just by the name of it, right? The contract provides that the seller will deliver possession of the property to the buyer in its present or required condition, ordinary wear and tear accepted. Before closing, the buyer should verify that the condition of the property meets the terms of the contract. And so, of course, you know that what that means. On the day that they contracted, on the effective date of the contract, whatever condition the property was in at that moment in time is how it should be conveyed on the day of closing, unless they agreed to other repairs pursuant to negotiations any time between the date of execution and the date of closing. So then it's in the condition that it was in on the date of effective date with the repairs that the seller agreed to do sometime in that time frame. So that's what that says, in its present or required condition. So A, the property was inspected by an inspector of the buyer's choice. Buyer has reviewed the inspection reports. Or 2, buyer has chosen not to have the property inspected. Can you see protection for you in both answers? Whether you're the listing agent or the buyer's agent? Do you see protection for the seller and the buyer? Everybody is giving notice here. The buyer says, I don't want an inspection. They said that here. Or they did. They picked the inspector. What if they say the inspector didn't do a good job? He missed this, he missed that, he missed whatever. Of the buyer's choice. Well, you picked him. I gave you a list and I told you to look on the TREC website to look at all the people who are licensed to do inspections in this part of the state and pick the one, call them, get prices. I didn't pick them. Unless you did, and then you got problems that we need to talk about privately. Before closing walkthrough, buyer has walked through and reviewed the property before closing on some day, sometime. Buyer chooses not to walk through the property. Is that a good thing to know? Is that a good thing for the buyer to attest to, whether you're the listing agent, the buyer's agent, the seller, the buyer, anybody? Buyer accepts the property in its present condition. Notice the buyer. The brokers have no knowledge of any defects in the property other than what has been disclosed in the seller disclosure notice or other written information the brokers may have provided. The brokers have no duty to inspect the property for unknown defects. It is the buyer's responsibility to have inspections completed. Does that make anybody feel warm and fuzzy about your own potential liability in a transaction? It should. Now, if the buyer doesn't accept it because the repairs aren't done, then they shouldn't sign this form. You should stop everything, notice the other side.
They also shouldn't close.
Yes.
Could you have this done at closing if you're the seller and you want it signed?
Yeah.
Just say, we'd like this signed at closing.
Absolutely. Take it to closing. I think we should be, I'm not going out on a limb just yet to say I'm going to require it on every transaction. However, I think it would be very strong for all of us. Because as I look at this, I can tell you, and this is not a pointer, but it won't work. That paragraph, we have people who try to make it our fault that there's a material defect with the property that the seller didn't disclose, that we didn't know about. There's no way we could have known about it. But we've had people attempt to bring suits against us for that. Why wouldn't we use this form?
So this is a dumb question, but.
I like it though.
So if it's a new build, let's say, and you're doing multiple walkthroughs, you're not going to do this till the final walkthrough.
That's right. That's right. Well, and everybody's probably heard this in TV Land people. This question was, if it's a builder, we wouldn't do this until the very last walkthrough, and the answer yes. And now the statement, you should have an fee inspector inspect a builder's new home before closing, because we've had horrible things caught.
When they update that form, can we have them add the seller's signature on it? So that way it's required to give a copy to the seller?
It's only got buyer signatures on it right now.
We can certainly ask them to do that. Yeah, yes.
Say
That's a
that-
TAR form.
Say that again.
She is saying, could we ask TAR the next time they revise this form, and I believe this is a 2016 form, could we ask for a seller's, like, acknowledgement of receipt or something like that?
Yes.
Good idea.
Client that's lives in California and they're not going to be here until the day of closing. They're not going to be able to do this. Are they going to ask me to do it? And if so, what am I supposed to say? No.
That's right. No is the right answer.
Okay.
And the question, TV Land, was out-of-town buyer, not going to be here to the day of closing, which means that you do this on the day of closing. And what if they want me to do this the day before? Answer, no.
What if they want you to do a walkthrough
They
with
can hire-
them? What if they'd like for you to do a walkthrough with them via FaceTime?
I'm uncomfortable with that.
Not for this purpose, but just for.
Nothing wrong doing it the day of closing. That's why I say do it the day of closing when they get there. Have the closing at 2 o'clock and do the walkthrough at 10.
Okay, now I have questions in the back of my mind about all the TAR forms. If
Yeah.
that's not the property code, and that's the reason for the lawsuit, then
Yeah, but that's a different set of facts.
why?
Now I'm starting to sound like a lawyer. It's all fact specific, you understand. And that was a different set of facts that led to the seller disclosure creating a problem. To me, this is actually more of a broker protection form than anything else.
And it will stand up in court.
Oh, hell, who knows what will stand up in court, and I apologize for the use of profanity.
Granted, I was late, but am I understanding, so even if I'm representing, I've always wondered why it seems in some ways almost more important for the seller side to have it. But we can ask that they provide that to us. Okay.
And what I said was, obviously, the seller needs to ask for us to get it, which means you need to coach them at the time you take a listing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Back to the out-of-town buyers. Can out-of-town buyers designate somebody they know here
Yep.
to do the walk?
Let's do that in writing.
Like an email or something?
Let's get an email, let's get something in writing. They could hire an inspector
Okay.
to go back and walk through again.
Okay.
And that's just a small fee
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah. Just don't be doing it yourself. Even if it's your family.
Oh, that's the worst.
Okay, good. I'm glad everybody knows that answer.
It is the holidays after all.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays.
I have something that's not related to that.
Okay?
I promised Mary Vitek that I would share that I don't recommend doing buyer temporary lease backs for
Okay.
the buyer. And I know you don't like us to do it, and I did it.
It's okay. I won't shoot you for it or anything.
To do it again.
Okay.
It's not fun if they don't close when they're supposed to, and they're still living in the house.
So the
Do
people
you have
in
experience with this?
people in TV land, we have a testimony about why it's not a good idea to do a buyer temporary lease, particularly in a case where they don't timely close and you're stuck with the people in the house and things aren't good. Is that right? Okay. And she also made a side comment, which is true. I am not a fan of either buyer or seller temporary leases. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying exercise extreme caution. And at the same time, I say we live our whole real estate lives on faith. That's how I see it. We have faith that the lender's going to perform, faith that the title company is going to perform, faith that the buyer and the seller are going to perform. And we show up on a single day at a moment in time expecting the seller to be completely out, everything to be perfect, the loan to be ready, the title company to be ready, the money to be there, and the buyer to be happy and the seller to be happy and everybody to walk away with what they wanted. And a whole lot of times that happens.
Amen.
And sometimes it doesn't. And that's when you earn your commission.
Man, I wish I had an organ here to play that. Play organ behind you when you said that.
You're the singer.
I love the story about the agent. I was a new agent when I was told this. He went to closing, the title company had him come out, and she said, somebody buy a boat? You no longer qualify at the closing table. The
Oh, yeah.
buyers.
Oh, yeah.
So we know where they're living now.
Yeah.
On a boat.
Well, and that hopefully that's still part of our new agent training to remind our new people, to remind their buyers, don't buy anything from the day you contract till 3 days after closing, in case they decide to check something right after closing. Don't buy a couch, don't buy a refrigerator, don't buy nothing, don't loan money to your children. Don't help your children get a student loan. All that stuff. Everybody in this room that's been doing this a while can tell a horror story about that. And that's the one set in Julie's mind. She learned from somebody else's mistakes, which is what I'm trying to do with this lawsuit. So is that it?
That's all we
My
got.
time's
Anyone
up.
else have any more questions?
Okay.
To the seller's disclosure, I know we're using the correct one now. Okay, I have a listing that's been out for 6 months, and it was done on the.
That's fine.
It's okay?
That's fine.
But now he did do a new roof on the house.
You might want to, you just,
Add on?
yeah. And be sure that every place in the form where there is an additional document required, like floodplain, that kind of stuff, that you're using the additional document. Thank y'all. Merry Christmas. I don't see you.
Thanks, Davis. All right, y'all ready for the meeting?
Ho,
You
ho,
got
ho.
it.
I love you. Thank you for
too.
doing this.
Yeah, I'll be right there.
Don't forget your mask.
Thank you. No,
Lunch? I don't know. I lost half my audience. No, they had to go to the bathroom. They'll be back
That's
in.
what I
a minute.
think. They all went to the bathroom. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
It's not on.
It's not off? Perfect. All right, good morning. Good morning. How are you all? It's good to see you this morning. Glad you're here. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with something called the Attitude of Gratitude. Some of you guys may have seen this video before. It's one of my favorites. I love it. Please join me in watching.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, Christine, you're here too. I love you.
I know.
Dad, what's happening?
It goes on and off whenever we want. We've got clean water. Oh, that's great. Look at that. I bet I know what this does. Rain down the glorious water. Ah, shoes. Oh, what do we got here, guys? Food. I love food. A big food? We have work and we have nothing. Look, listen here. Eat? The what?
Jack, be careful!
Oh, I have a car! Did you guys see this?
Yeah, you have a car!
A car!
And don't forget your coffee.
You're the best.
So I wanted to read some quotes with you that I found online about gratitude. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. Gratitude is a powerful catalyst for happiness. It's the spark that lights a fire of joy in your soul. Happiness cannot be traveled to, owned, earned, worn, or consumed. Happiness is the spiritual experience of living every minute with love, grace, and gratitude. Gratitude is when memory is stored in the heart and not in the mind. We often take for granted the very things that most deserve our gratitude. And this last week, I had the opportunity to go and present the people of Brookwood and Georgetown with the check that we won for them. And, you know, sometimes I wish each one of us had the ability to just be a little bit more like the citizens of Brookwood and Georgetown. Their gratitude was overpouring with what that gift is going to be able to do for that organization and the opportunities it's going to be able to present even more people that want to belong and be part of Brookwood and Georgetown. And if you've never had the opportunity to go and get to know some of the people there or go on a tour at Brookwood and Georgetown, take the time to go and do it. It will change your entire mindset around that community, which so often our society has left behind. And they're working really, really hard right now to create additional spaces throughout the Austin area. They have at least 3 other campuses that they're getting ready to launch within the Austin area at different churches to allow more and more citizens the opportunity to do that. And there's people traveling here from all over the country to be part of this organization. So go and check it out, have lunch there sometime, and really support it. It's a hidden gem in the city of Georgetown if you've never been there. And then the next thing I've got is another Ellen video. I know y'all like those from last time. So here we go. Let's see what Ellen has to say today.
These are real listings of houses. This is a listing. This sounds promising. It says right here, cute home in the historic center. Let's see this cute home. Oh, honey, I love it. This black mold is adorable. Cute home and historic center. All right, this is, here's another one. This is a rental sign outside the Palm Tower. It says they have central air, security parking, a wet bar, and a large walk-in closet. Huh? Is my refrigerator running? No, but my closet's walking. Here's another one that let's just read it together, okay? We started off, it says spacious 1,500 square foot home with large lot, family living room, fireplace, and something. somebody, but I'm not interested. I think they meant deck. But if I was there, I would ask him what year the deck was erected.
All right, so I'm glad y'all got a nice laugh out of that. So next we've got our good friend Steve Schlueter. Come on up, Steve, or Clark Griswold.
So I have a challenge for you. Here you go. Yeah. There you go.
What's up?
So I think that when y'all talk about your listings, every one of you should have an Ellen-worthy description of your listing when you call your listings
We
out.
want to be able to still be in business.
You still want to be in business? Come on, not in the MLS, just for the sales meeting.
Oh, got it.
Just
Okay.
for the sales meeting.
Got it.
So.
Let me get this going.
You're going to get me up. I'm sorry, I was about to say
Whoa.
you're going to get me up, but I don't want to say that after Ellen. So,
we ain't
okay.
going there.
Okay.
Go ahead and put this on so the people
Okay.
online can hear you.
By the way, congratulations on Big. That was what a great, exciting opportunity that was, right?
It was a lot of fun.
Leadership. Thank you.
All right, there we go. Play from start. There you go.
Let me
Take
get
it
on the
away.
correct side here. Are we
You're good to
going?
go. Yeah.
Okay. How you doing, guys? Happy holidays. Everybody ready? Yes. I still haven't finished shopping, so we got to get with the program. So, well, hey, a good catch. What do I do here? Just
Push the
big button?
Big button there.
Big
There you
button.
go.
I can do that. All right. Hey, I want to talk to you about a concept and an opportunity today. Y'all up for a concept and an opportunity? Yes. Which one's better, concept or opportunity? Both. Both. Okay, I love that. I want to start with a concept that really, I want to talk about this thing called connection and flow. And the best way to do that is kind of illustrate with a story. I was going down 130 first week of July, and I'm driving down 130. I'm in my truck. Now, some of you may have heard the story. Most of y'all know haven't. And I'm driving in my truck and get a phone call. And has anybody besides me ever gotten a name pop up on your caller ID and you're going, it's on my caller ID, they're in my contacts, I must know them, I have no idea who it is. That ever happened to anybody? And so because they're there on my caller ID, it's a lady named Barbara Delamo. And Barbara pops up on my caller ID and I go, well, I hit the button on my steering wheel. I go, well, hey, Barbara, what's going on? And Barbara's going, well, hi, Steve. She talks like this. I'm going to talk like Barbara. She goes, well, hi, Steve. I go, well, hey, Barbara, what's up? She goes, well, I was calling to wish you a happy birthday. Now, it's like July 2nd, and my birthday is July 31st. And I go, well, Barbara, thanks. I really appreciate that. You know, it's not quite my birthday yet. And she goes, I know. I wanted to be the first one to wish you a happy birthday. And she goes, am I first? I said, you are. And she's going, well, great. That's so exciting. And yeah, I saw it on Facebook. You had a birthday coming up this month. And I just wanted to call and wish you a happy birthday. And I said, well, thanks so much. And she goes, now, you know what? She goes, I took Bold with you 10 years ago. Oh, now I know where Barbara's coming from, right? I took Bold with you 10 years ago. And, you know, I was thinking about you. I saw you on Facebook, and I saw you had a birthday coming up. And I just wanted to call and wish you a happy birthday. She goes, are you still doing Bold? And I said, well, as a matter of fact, I am. Well, where you been? And she talked about that a little bit, and we had a conversation. And then she said, now, I know you had that honey in San Antonio. Are you guys still together? And I said, well, as a matter of fact, we are. She goes, did you ever move to San Antonio? I said, well, yeah, I've been there about 2 years. She goes, well, man, I was a day late and $1 short. And you know, and she just makes real light of it. And she goes, well, where are you living? And I tell her, and she goes, well, gosh, I need to get your address. And I give her my address because I want to send you a birthday card. And so she gets the address, and she goes, well, what do you enjoy doing? You know, what do you guys been doing? What do you enjoy most about San Antonio? We have that conversation, and we hang up the call, and I hang up the call, and I go, man, what did Barbara do? She forwarded me. I hung up the call and go, man, I just got forwarded. And I liked it. You know, and now what's Ford stand for? Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. So she started off with the O, didn't she? Well, it's kind of personal with the birthday, and that was just kind of a little bit gimmicky, and yet it worked. I liked it. Is it good when they get a call that they like? I liked it. But for somebody I hadn't heard from in 10 years, was it a great icebreaker? It was a powerful icebreaker. And then she asked whether I was still doing bold. So, whoops, I'm sorry. Went back to the, okay, reverse. So, is there a pointer on this? Yeah. Okay, it won't work on this. And oh, that's cool. And so then she asked about, you know, recreation. She asked about family. Do you still have the honey? Right? She asked about my experience in San Antonio, our goals, our plans, what we had coming up. And I'm going, man, that was a powerful Ford conversation. Now, when Barbara did come up on my caller ID, here was the interesting thing. I didn't really know who she was, and yet she was vaguely familiar. So even when you get that up there, is it still vaguely familiar? It's vaguely familiar. And I'm going, and then I went back to when I got to the house, I pulled Barbara up on my email. And this is what I saw. Now, if you look at the dates, Barbara's been pretty consistent about being in touch with me, hasn't she? And yet, all those emails weren't enough to put her where? Top of mind. It was vaguely familiar. And so I have one Ford conversation with Barbara. And by the way, I get an email a few days later, which was this email. It's just one straight out of eEdge. And what do I do with this email that I hadn't done with the others? I actually looked at it and I read it and I scrolled down and go, that's what she looks like. And now I remember her. And it was just this simple little one phone call that absolutely put her back in flow with me. So this concept of flow or connection is, we see that all these efforts of all these emails, and yet it wasn't what? It wasn't enough. It didn't do the trick. So to really create a flow, there had to be a conversation that occurred. And that's why today, you know, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, we talk about being prospecting-based, marketing enhanced, and, you know, having those actual conversations and having models for the conversations that work. And so we think about this, and the concept of being in flow is, you know, Gary Keller talked about the Inman. Anybody watch the Inman interview, Gary Keller? If you watch the Inman interview, there was all this conversation about technology, and is the technology important? Where we're going? Absolutely. And at the very end, Brad Inman asked Gary Keller a question. He said, what's the one thing? By the way, he wrote a book about that, right? The one thing. He said, what's the one thing these agents have to be doing to combat the forces that are coming our way? Does anybody remember what Gary said? I know Scott knows. What was that? Well, he said, you got to work a database. He said, you got to be in a relationship with a database. He says, the most important thing is you got to be in a relationship with a database. On one of the most recent Labs Unleashed videos, they said that the thing you have to do to be ready for command and everything that's coming is you have to have a clean database. I mean, that's how you're ready. So I want to talk to you about an opportunity. Would you be open to an opportunity around connection and around flow? Yes. To really help make that happen in your business. Now, Gary Keller said your goal is to be the economist of choice for your local real estate market. You know, to be that hyper-local trusted real estate advisor. So here's my question for you. Is the newspaper dead?
Depends on which one.
Depends on which one? I mean, when you think about most newspapers, would you say the newspaper's dead?
Yes. Physical newspaper, yeah, not the online.
What about this one?
Except for the sports page. No, that one's useful.
That one's what? Useful. Why is it useful? Hyper-local, right? And so we come with this general saying, and we say, okay, hey, the newspaper's dead, and yet not if it's local. Not if it's hyper-local, not if it's got something that, you know, is creating a connection to you, your community, your lifestyle, the things that you live every day. And so with this in mind, one of the things that we started off on, you know, about 3 years ago, and I know, Megan, you were very involved in helping us, Never Ending Referrals, the early days as we were building it, and one of the things that we always said and we always taught was you have to be that hyper-local trusted real estate advisor. And the challenge with doing that is to be the hyper-local trusted real estate advisor, you almost have to become an editor to do your own impact, don't you? And that becomes a bit of a challenge. And so the realization we had earlier this year is we said we've got to become your partner in developing that hyper-local position, the hyper-local content, and put it together on your behalf so that it doesn't become this chore. That becoming that hyper-local trusted advisor just becomes something you get to implement and execute. And so we launched the thing we called AutoConnect, and we've got a beta group that we launched a few months ago. We've got 23, 24 people in the beta group. I think 9 from Georgetown, 13 from Round Rock, and we've gone through a process of learning the editing process, learning working with the printer, learning the system to make it all work, and we've really got that dialed in now. And so the next piece of this is opening it up to anybody that chooses to participate. And today I'm just kind of introducing it to you. We'll give you an opportunity to kind of come get oriented to it if it's something you might choose to engage in. And so what we've done is we understood that this is the issue. Zillow did a study that said, and this was a year after they closed, and they asked the question of 13,249 households, how often did you hear from your real estate agent after closing? What's the scary part of those numbers? Never, 74%. And then occasionally 20%, and then 6% regularly. And so here's the interesting thing. We've got no competition. We've just got to be that person that stays connected, because if that's the experience they're having, and you're getting a relationship, even if they didn't buy a house from you, if you become their trusted local advisor, are you going to dominate their mind share in time? And especially if you have those care calls or a real estate review call, some of these things that we talk about in our masterminds. So what we've done is, in fact, let me distribute here a few things. I'll send a couple down each. Let's do this. Here, y'all take those and just kind of pass them around. Pass those down and around. I'll start some. Here's a couple of different. Here's another one. And here's another. And what we've done is we've developed a hyperlocal newsletter. The postcards here are examples. Let me start some from the back, and y'all can kind of come back from here. I'll start them on this side, and y'all can kind of just pass them up. And they'll meet in the middle somewhere. And we said, we've got to go develop the hyperlocal content. And the newsletter is an example of, and here's the most recent newsletter. I didn't have any extras with me. This one's got a story on the front about Kalahari. And it's a human interest story. It was actually, we called Kalahari, and they had just submitted a press release to CNN. They sent it to us. And we turned it into a story here. And so it's a big issue in Williamson County and what they're doing. The inside, we've got a story on freezing your credit. We've got millennials being attracted to Texas, Texas being the second largest city for millennial traction. And then vital signs, which is all market stats on the back. And then in addition to this, I didn't bring any with me, and yet we also have infographic postcards. And the way this works out is what we produce through AutoConnect is 8 real estate economist postcards. So on the months that we don't have a newsletter, we have an infographic postcard. We have the hyperlocal newsletter is quarterly. So it's postcards 8 times a month, or 8 months rather, on the Economist, and then the newsletter is quarterly. Then we have the item of value direct mail piece. That's that community postcard where we're profiling a local artist. And on the back, it's got all the community events, and not just in Georgetown or not just in Round Rock, but what's going on in Austin, what's going on in Fredericksburg. And it's one of these things, we've got a lot of positive feedback that people are getting exposed to things they weren't normally exposed to. And so what AutoConnect provides is the print pieces. The 8 local real estate economist postcard campaign. This is Raven. He's helped me create Raven fans. 4 quarterly newsletters. The 11, it's actually going to be 12 item of value direct mail pieces. And then we have a mastermind group that gets together monthly that you're welcome to attend, where we focus on what the content is and also on some strategies for executing around AutoConnect. Now today I just wanted to come introduce this to you because we're opening it up to anybody that chooses to participate. And who in the room is participating right now? So I know Megan, okay. And any thoughts y'all want to share with the group about the process?
It makes it, I don't know, it makes it a lot more simple in order to make sure you're getting a high impact return. And obviously it's going to take more than just the few months that we've been doing it in order to take advantage of it. But when we're also calling our database in addition to this, that's really all you need to do is to do a few other extra pieces.
Yeah.
Because this is on autopilot in a high level.
It's on auto what?
Pilot.
Autopilot, you know, that's the great thing. It is on autopilot. And so if you're interested in an autopilot campaign, here's what I just want you to know about it. The way we deploy this now is every month on the 5th is when we enroll new groups. And so if you wanted to go ahead and get your database on this, I would encourage you to come to an orientation on AutoConnect. I need to see with y'all, Scott, about scheduling one here. I'm happy to do one before the end of the year or even next week. I know y'all are going to probably reschedule your ALC retreat and y'all got things going with Kristen being out. And I'd be happy to come. I can do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week if anybody's interested. Just let us know, and what I'll do is I'll schedule an orientation. There is one tomorrow at 11:30 in Round Rock. I think y'all have got Tech Roadshow tomorrow, so that's important for y'all to be at. Yes, ma'am.
So there are several of us who are in Bell County. Is this customizable for Bell County as well?
Right now, the content we have is really Williamson, Travis County focused. Now, I think if we get enough interest in Bell County, we can develop a Bell County component to it. Scott, how many agents do we have in Bell County?
About 25.
About 25. Wow. Then, yeah, we can. Yeah, we can and we will. And yet what we would have to have is probably a Bell County content committee. And if they would be willing to, because y'all are going to, what's that?
I'll head it up.
What? Tell me your first name?
Stephanie.
Stephanie. Okay. Yeah. Well, what I encourage you to do is come to one of the orientations and let's talk about a content community for Bell County. And where we're going, here's the great thing tomorrow. Who's going to the tech thing tomorrow? What do we call it? Roadshow, right? Roadshow. Tech Roadshow tomorrow. If you haven't been, who's been to a roadshow already? Okay. If you haven't been to a roadshow, go. One of the things you're going to hear about is smart plans. Scott, describe smart plans.
It's a plan that's specific, and it's going to automatically take care of things for you with the group of people you want it to. And you can, it's completely customizable for different groups within your database.
Yeah. So here's what will happen with this. Right now, the electronic side of this, we're saying just run a stock eEdge campaign for right now, because as soon as we have smart plans, what we'll do on the AutoConnect group is we'll develop an AutoConnect smart plan for your email communication. And then ideally, we'd encourage you to do a video email once a quarter, maybe just before your newsletter hits. And if you're talking about a couple of key stories in the newsletter, priming it, are they more likely to open up your newsletter? Yes or yes? Yes. You got it. And so it's designed to be a whole system where ultimately you're touching your database how many times a year? 40. And then what's the 4 most critical of those touches? Face-to-face or on the phone. And here's what we want to say about the program. Now, the standard of who we'd say put, now by the way, what we give you, if you come to the orientation, we'll give you a template. How am I doing on time? Okay.
You got plenty of time.
I got plenty of time, okay. You come to the orientation and we'll give you a template and say, put them in this format. If you're an eEdge, we'll take the export on that format. If you're not an eEdge, we'll give you a worksheet, say put them in here, and when you choose to update it, we have a Google form that you just, anytime you put somebody new in your database, you put them on the Google form, and they're automatically enrolled in AutoConnect, and it's done. We have an automatic billing system. Would y'all like to know the cost? Yeah. Okay. Now I need somebody to get a calculator out, because I want you to do some work for me. Okay. Diane, you going to be my calculation person? Sure. She's got it. Gotta love it. My numbers girl here. We managed to do all the print stuff for $1.48 per month per person. And that gets you 2 pieces a month. That means they're getting something in their mailbox from you every 2 weeks, roughly. And again, once a quarter it's the newsletter, otherwise it's the jumbo postcards. that are going out, and this is the item of value postcard, and then you got another one that's an infographic focused on what's happening in the market, and it interprets the market. The one that's at the printer right now, it offers a real estate review based upon here's some of the trends, and you may choose to have us consult with you on what's going on in the market. And there's classes for all of this. And the goal is to make this simple, to create simple conversations that aren't hard prospecting calls. They're, what have we taught in BOLD? To come from what? Contribution. They're contribution calls, they're care calls, and they're easy to make. And so who we encourage you to put in, so let's go, so Diana, it's $1.48 a person. So Diana, here's the calculation I'd like you to do. So do $1.48 times 12.
Okay.
And that's how much?
1776.
1770, that sounds like a great year. Yeah, remember the history book still tells us what that year's about? So 1776 times 100.
1,776.
So 1,776. To put 100 people on AutoConnect for a year, it's $1,000 and some change for a year for 100 people. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that what I heard? Or what was it? 1,700? 1,776 a person. So 100 is going to be $1,776 a year for 100 people. So it's $17.76 per person. If I got 100, it's how much a month? Did I do my math right? No, because I didn't do it by 12, did I?
No.
Okay. So it's roughly $2,000, right? And so $2,000. So let's say you got 100 and you get a, Scott, if they were making their calls, at least 2 a year, and we had the electronic campaign going and they had their mailing campaign going, what's the minimum return you think they would get on their database?
They had a database of 100 people?
Yeah.
$84,000.
Okay. So tell us where you came up with that number. 10%. 10% return. So 10 transactions at average commission. So you think about that investment for $80,000. How many of you would make that investment all day long? Yeah. And that's the choice you make. But here's the thing that I encourage you to do. Here's the standard I would have for people that I put in the system. They're not just a collection of names, right? And don't just go collect names, put them in there, and I'm going to mail a bunch of stuff and hope to get a return. So the first standard is it's people that are people that I know and I like them. Is it good if you like them?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's what's that? It helps, because I might call them. And they know who I am, and ideally, do they like me? Yeah, ideally. Yeah. And here's the big one. I'm willing to call them a minimum of 2 times annually. And you saw how easy just a forward conversation can be, right? And it doesn't have to, and here's the power of forward. When you have a forward conversation and you talk to people about their family, their occupation, their recreation and dreams, and dreams, we're not going, it's not a Pretty Woman thing. What's your dream? It's what are their future plans? What are their goals? And if I were to ask you what family, occupation, recreation, dreams, what does that represent to people? What's that, Megan?
Important things.
It's an important thing. It's their highest value areas, right? That you care. What's that now? That you care. That you care. And there's simple conversation models that you can build. A simple forward conversation starts with a call and build common ground around forward. The purpose of your call can be an update on something, close on common ground, and you're done. It can be a 3-minute phone call, and it can be very caring. And yet in those conversations, oftentimes, do y'all have conversations when you hear people who they say something, you go, that sounds like somebody who's probably going to be buying or selling in the next year. And that becomes something that goes on your pipeline report. You put them on your CGI pipeline tool or some kind of hot list or a follow-up system, and you're going to hear those things when you're having forward conversations. They're going to talk about things that are going on in their life, and it's easy to do. And when you have a conversation, they actually look at your what? Your newsletter. They actually look at your items of value that you bring. They look at your infographics, and they'll look at your email. Not necessarily every one, and yet will you be in flow with them? You'll be in flow all day long. So here's the last thing I want to share with you, because I'm going to let Scott get back to y'all's meeting. And look, all those stockings out there. Did y'all stuff those this morning? Yeah. That's cool. Here's what National Association of Realtors says. These are your choices. National Association of Realtors says you can do direct mail, cold direct mail. Is this cold direct mail? No. This is not cold direct mail. It's a 2,000 to 1 return. You can do cold internet lead generation, 1,600 to 1. Cold phone solicitation, most of it's done illegally because people don't look at the what? Do not call list, 500 to 1. Door knocking, 100 to 1. Now, by the way, personal contact with friends, if I'm just kind of, hanging out with people and I have occasional contact, 50 to 1, turn into transactions. Ad calls, 25 to 1. Sign calls. Look at referrals. What's referrals? 3 to 2. So for every 3 referrals I get, 2 will turn into what? Closed business. And so that's the power of referrals. And so the game we're playing is the game of referrals. And I'm not going to take any more time than this other than, Scott, is there an opportunity next week maybe to do an orientation if anybody in here desires to do explore this?
Today, if you're interested in being part of an orientation next week, the text that I sent out yesterday evening about the meeting today, just respond to that with the word yes. That way I know how many people are interested and we'll find a time that makes
Yeah. Yeah, I can do it Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of next week, probably in the afternoon on Tuesday, Wednesday. And then last thing is Harris Interactive did a poll that said each American household knows at least 4 people that moved last year. So that means when we're connecting with our database, do we have a high probability of generating referrals? And if we're not sending recipe cards, if we're positioning ourselves as a real estate expert, as a trusted real estate advisor, then when we think about that, and by the way, the buy-sell cycle is 8 years for most people right now, and what this represents is every year we got 4 referral opportunities. The 8th year is when they're going to move. That means there's 2 more, yes? So there's the 4 referrals they know plus them and their 2 sides. And if you think about that, that means between the times they sell, there's 34 opportunities times 4 cycles between the time they sell is 136 total transaction opportunities. So there you go. That's the opportunity, and I'm going to leave it at that. So any questions? Scott, any thoughts you want to add?
It's going to work great.
Only if you what?
Only if you do it.
Only if you work it. Yeah, it's not just, guys, I want to respect your money. And this is, we built this because we knew how difficult it is to do these things by yourself. And we said, we're going to partner with you in getting this done. And here's the great thing is y'all get to, by being part of the masterminds and things like that, ultimately what I would love to this evolve into is that we have a content committee and y'all drive the content. Right now we're kind of mostly doing it. And then Bell County, that many people, Scott, we got to figure out how to do it for Bell County. Yeah.
We're getting more and more every day. So
yeah, I heard that. So that's a good thing. Thank you very much, Scott. Thank you.
One way to look at it, essentially, those profit share letters that we send out on your behalf? It's essentially the exact same thing. We wanted to make profit share something that's extremely easily attainable for you to do. This year, from doing those letters alone, we've gotten 9 cappers that have joined our market center simply from that one initiative. Yeah. So and our cost for that was about $4,000 so far year to date. The additional income it's added for the market center and profit share is about $180,000. So things like this do work. Yeah.
Thanks, Scott.
All right. Thanks. Have a good day.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back to the show, or back to our scheduled programming, rather. All right. So what's going on in the market center?
Put on your thing so they can hear you.
I got it on. We got 2 of them up here. That's perfect. All right, so Never Ending Referrals is going to be this Thursday from 9 to 11. That will be, we'll be back in here in this room for that.
That guy's a quack. I wouldn't go there.
The lady's not too bad, though. And then Rising Stars, we're going to resume that on January 7th. Accelerated Ignite. Julie, you're going to be one of the instructors for this, right?
Yes, I am.
Are you excited about it? Because I'm excited about it.
We're looking really forward to doing this. We're doing a seller week one weekend and the buyers another weekend. So everything in Ignite from A to Z, from sellers and A to Z from buyers, you're going to get on those 2 days.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So if you have people who are maybe struggling with finding education at their brokerage, or if they want to just come and learn more, if you want to come and learn more on one of those weekends, come on. It's open to absolutely anyone who wants to come and join us for those days. And so the more people we have, the better. I've always found that when I'm in a room with a lot of people learning, we learn off of one another based upon the questions that are being asked. Would you agree?
Yes, and we've already scheduled it the first time.
Yes.
When is it?
It's going to be.
The first weekend is the 12th.
Yes.
And the second weekend is the weekend after that.
Yes.
Sellers is the 12th and the buyers.
12th and the 19th, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be in January, 12th and the 19th. All right, and then Train the Presenter is going to be in here in this room December 17th and 18th. That's with Holly Prescott. If you want to get better at your presentation skills, or you plan on going and teaching real estate classes at some point in time, it's a great opportunity for you to learn and improve your skills, even if it was simply just for being a better presenter in presenting your listing presentation. It's a great class for that too. All right, and then Master Your CGI, we're going to do that today from 1 to 2. Kristen would normally lead it. If you have an opportunity, send Kristen a text today. She is at the hospital with her family. Her uncle is probably not going to make it through the rest of the day. They took him off of life support last night, and they've got a pretty rough day ahead of them. He had surgery last week. Surgery didn't go quite as expected, so just send her a text and let her know you're thinking about her today. I'd appreciate it if you did. And I know she would too. All right, tomorrow from 9 to 1 in this room is going to be the Tech Roadshow. If you haven't come to one of these, even if you have, there's going to be a lot of new stuff that we're going to present to you that has been added since the last Tech Roadshow. These are going to be things that are going to dramatically change your business. Some of them are available right now. Some of them will be available in the next couple of months. And some of them, yes, are like 3, 4, 5 months away. Yet we're showing you exactly everything that we've got going on. Yes, Kim?
Does Gary Keller speak at these?
Gary Keller is not going to be one of the speakers. It's going to be Josh Team. It's going to be a couple other people at the tech that are part of the technology crew. And then we've also got myself and Crystal. We'll be leading it tomorrow here in the Market Center.
They're good.
Yeah.
If you've never been, they're really educational. Where are they? I'm embracing technology.
It's going to be right here in the office.
Oh.
Yeah. So it'll be right here from 9 to 1 tomorrow. Is that an air high five? All right. Yes.
Will it be recorded by chance?
We are not allowed to record that one because we can't put it out there for the whole world to see what we're working on, because we don't want every other company to just say, well, let's just copy everything they're working on. They can do that after we've come out with it, but while we're still working on it, we want to keep it proprietary. So that's going to be you need to be here in the classroom to see it. All right, our Christmas party is going to be when? Thursday. What time? 6 to 9. All right, perfect. We're going to have some awesome prizes that evening as well. Food's going to be from Blue Corn Harvest, my favorite restaurant here in Georgetown. So make sure you're here for that. We're going to have, I think it's going to be a Michael Kors purse that we're giving away. We're going to be giving away a lot of tech items. So yeah, we're going to have a good time that night. And then we're going to have cookie decorating for the kids and adults. If you want to cookie decorate too, that's perfectly fine. And Santa will be here for pictures as well. So it's going to be great.
White elephant exchange, was that,
I mean, if you want to bring a white elephant gift, there might be somebody else who has something in their purse. No, it's not an official thing. It could be fun for next year, though. I didn't think about that. Different party. I mean, you were invited to what, 9?
No, I swear I saw something about that like a while ago.
Got it. Okay.
I just wanted to double check.
All right, so there's the video. We've seen the video. Great by Choice, January 8th. You've got to be here for this. I am so excited about it. It's going to be at the City Lights Theater. It's going to be an all-day event. We've got some amazing people who are coming in to speak with us about the future of real estate, about what they've been doing in their businesses to dominate their markets that they're in. It's going to be a really, really amazing experience. We can thank Judy for taking me to the one last year to really kind of jumpstart me into thinking about something like this. This is our inaugural event. Are there going to be things that don't go right? You better believe it, and I'm excited about it because we're going to learn from it and make it even better for next year. So, yes.
Are you going to flyer that we can email this out to people?
Absolutely. Lauren, I think, sent one out about a week ago about that. We'll get another one sent out today. Any other questions about that? Great opportunity to build your downline. And really, this time, if you want to bring in people from like other business owners or people in your database, it's not all going to be just real estate specific. There are going to be things that are taught that can be taken across all businesses. So it's a great opportunity to just really network with people. 240 people We have room for 240 people. So if every single person in our office came, we would still have room for 38 people. All right? Let's keep going.
Is there a cost to that?
It's free for every single agent in this office. Absolutely.
And
All
if
right.
you bring outside people, is it $35?
You know, that's what we're going with right now. I'll let you know for sure in the next couple days after we have all of our sponsors lined up, whether or not we're going to stick to that. We may just open it to everyone and not charge anything. All right, who has a new listing they want to tell me about? Nope, we've sold them all? Sold them all before they even hit the market? We had like 30 last week. Yeah, go ahead.
Soon in Old Town.
Okay.
It's 1.5.
All right.
1,200 square feet, approximately 265. It'll be live later this week.
Great.
It's on 8th.
Okay.
It's really walkable to Old Town, so or to the square. So it'll be pictures are happening today.
265.
265.
I like it.
Yeah.
That sounds like an opportunity.
What kind of condition is it in? It's good. It's good. The kitchen's already been updated. It's not granite, but it's original.
You can't take
floors.
things like that for granted.
Exactly.
Kicked in for a couple of you guys a little late. I like it. Anything else? Any other coming soons? Yeah.
I have one after the first of the year.
Okay.
If he gets a clear pass from the doctors, he's going to put his house on the market.
Where is it going to be?
Sun City.
Okay. Any?
Low 200s.
Great. Okay. Perfect. Debbie.
I've got one, it's probably gonna be another couple of weeks or so, I think we're gonna hurry up and get moved. It's gonna be a 2-story, about 2,200, I think, a 3-bedroom, 2, it's got an extra little room upstairs. It's, east off of 971 and County Road 156.
Okay.
It's 5 acres, and there's no restrictions, well septic, it's a neat place, got an extra little building outside, it's his hobby room, he did woodworking and stuff. And it'll be coming on in probably a couple weeks. I don't know the price because we're going to wait till the latest minute to get that big house.
How many bedrooms did you say it was?
3.
And where did you say? Sorry.
Where?
County Road 156. Just go through Weir on 971, about 3 or 4 miles into the left.
And can you have horses on that property?
Yes, you can.
Especially if you are allowed to have a service animal, then nobody can tell you can't have a miniature horse.
Your little miniature horse.
A miniature service horse, exactly. All right. Any other coming soons? How about buyer needs? Yes.
Yeah, I got people coming in from California, need a Sun City house, 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, on the greenbelt preferably, obviously as dolled up as possible. I know Virginia could probably help me out with that one.
Yeah.
So
505 Caney Creek.
Okay, is that your listing?
What address is that?
Hit me up on-
505 Caney Creek.
Okay, I'll talk to you about that afterwards. So that's what I'm looking for, and it looks pretty safe about this week.
Good. Price point?
Oh, sorry. We're probably starting at 250, go up to 350.
Okay. Good. All right.
I
Any?
have a buyer looking for, probably after the first of the year, something on 2 acres, maybe out in the Liberty Hill, or, it doesn't have to be in Georgetown, and they want grandma's house if they can fix it.
And I need you to come up here for a second.
Yes.
Come on, Laura. Come on up.
What's their price point, Laura?
Around 300 or under. Okay. So low.
Okay.
That's why I won't be in Georgetown.
That's fine.
This is the Williamson County Association of Realtors Rookie of the Year right here. I have a trophy for you. I just forgot to bring it from my car.
That's okay.
But I wanted you guys to know she's an amazing lady. And I'm so proud to be in business with you.
Thank
so
you very
congratulations
much.
on that. First 11 months in real estate, over $3.5 million in closed volume. So congratulations on that. Way to go. You beat all of your competition by miles. Yeah, exactly. So funny story. So I was sitting at the dinner with Kristen, and they were saying, okay, now we're going to talk about our Rookie of the Year. They start talking about all these accomplishments and everything, and I looked at Kristen and I said, whoever it is, we have to recruit this person. And then they said, and her team leader, Scott Tolar, had this to say about her, and I was like, we already got her. So, anyways, I thought that was funny. Any other, yeah?
Buyer needs?
Buyer needs, yes.
I've got a guy that is ready. He's looking to build a larger home, and we've identified a few different communities. If you have anything coming up in like Escalera, if anybody has a lot that nobody's building on and they're thinking of selling, that would be fabulous. His criteria is Leander or Liberty Hill ISD, under 250, any sort of acreage. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it has water. It doesn't matter if it has electricity. Some sort of trees, topography, Liberty Hill, Leander. He does not want, he's going to be building like $1 million plus home, and he does not want to be the most expensive home in the neighborhood. And that's a lot of what we're running up against.
Yeah.
In those areas. So if there's a little hidden pocket that you guys know of, or have somebody that's considering selling, please let me know. He's ready to buy yesterday, cash, and we've seen everything, and then some in MLS.
Okay.
Let's talk. Okay. I also have a buyer need.
Okay.
So she's super open to location, anything north of Austin, anywhere from Taylor over to Liberty Hill. Kicker is the lot size has to be able to fit a pool, and she's got to have a big kitchen, either 3 bedrooms and a study or 4 bedrooms, and the tax rate can't be so high that she can't get the house that she needs.
What's her budget?
With assuming a 2.8 tax rate, it's $330.
Okay. And how big of a pool does she want?
Like 10,000 gallons, not
Okay.
just a little. I mean, not tiny, but like just a regular.
There you go.
size.
All right. Any other buyer needs? Yeah, Shane.
I have a client that's looking for something out in the country. They're wide open on area, but they're kind of leaning towards the Florence general area. Minimum square footage, 2,400. They love a 4-bedroom and 3-bedroom woodwork. They would love some land with trees and a possible bow hunting potential. They could go up to 500.
Okay.
And we've kind of zeroed in on a property, but if you've got something coming soon, please let me know.
All right.
Would they be willing to, you said they were wanting it already done, or they want to build it?
No, they'd like something already done.
What if the builder was willing to build it for them? Do they want it now? They don't want to wait?
Well, believe it or not, they're pretty patient. I've been working with them for a long time.
What about a fixer?
What's that?
What about a fixer? Like if there was work that needed to get done?
Ooh,
Don't wanna do that?
probably not in there. They just had a kid.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah.
probably not in
They got plenty of work ahead of them.
Yeah, they've got plenty to do.
They're really not in that position right now.
All right. Any other buyer needs? Perfect. Let me go get our sponsor. Yes. Yes.
Can you put that big picture up there again?
Yeah. I'm just gonna go backwards a little bit.
Do you mind?
Nope, not at all.
You skipped price improvements. Rob.
Oh, that's right. Price improvements. While I'm going backwards, does anyone have a price improvement? Yes, Virginia.
106 Riverview here in Georgetown off Leander Road in River Ridge. Many of you saw it several weeks, a few months ago. 4 bedrooms upstairs, a nice sized backyard. The price has just been reduced from $319, or will be reduced when I get back in to do it, to $3,099. This house is particularly attractive if you have someone who wants a place for a home business. The entryway, and then there's French doors into an office. There is a secure door between that and the house. So if someone wants a home business and separation from the house, those are
You got the
items we
place.
really need.
Okay.
What's the address?
106 Riverview Cove.
Okay.
Is the master down?
No, all 4 up.
All right. Any other?
Did you strategically put yourself there below the sunflower?
No. Did you really have me bring the picture back to ask me that question?
I don't know what I want everybody to notice that.
The irony in that is pretty funny. Yeah, I give you that. No, I did not. They didn't. If they planned it, they didn't tell me. They just told me to stand there. There you go. It was as the guy with that always does the painting says, it was a happy accident.
Right.
What's his name?
With the hair?
Yeah, the guy with the hair. You
Yeah, I
know.
know who you're talking about.
Bob Ross. Is our sponsor here?
Yes.
Come on in, Amber.
And I kept looking at
The one, the only Amber Martinez.
and look at the bottom of his head.
It's my halo. Hey, Amber, how are you?
I'm fabulous.
Great.
Y'all have food for 1 million people out
Oh,
there.
perfect.
So I always try to do something a little bit different and bring in something that you probably try not to have every single time. And that's usually like sandwiches and pizza. I walked in and there's sandwiches. And I'm like, I ordered them a potato bar. So you have sandwiches and soups and salad. There's no soup. And dessert. It is plenty, so make sure you guys eat. I'm also doing a door prize because it's Christmas, so what else to do? You give gifts. So everybody who wants to donate a part. And then, because I was so busy helping Donna get that mess set up, we're just going to talk and walk. Is that okay?
Sounds great. I can pass things out for you.
Yeah.
You talk, I'll walk.
Not this one. Not this one. This one. You'll do this.
There you go.
And these, because this is our fun holiday promo.
And if you'll hold that so people can hear you online, that'd be awesome.
Oh, I'm really online?
You're really online.
Wow.
You are a YouTube
Check.
star to about 25 people right now.
So can I wish I could start, if I was a DJ right now, I'd start spinning, but that's not going to happen. Because I'm on a computer, I'm on TV, that's so fun. Anyways, so most of you guys know me, but for those of y'all who don't, I'm Amber Martinez with Home Warranty of America. And what I love about Keller Williams and Home Warranty of America, for those of you who do not know, I will tell you proudly again for 2019, we are for 6th year in a row, Keller Williams preferred home warranty partner nationwide.
Way to go.
6 years in a row. So I had the opportunity to have a gentleman by the name of Tom Frywright come out and speak at our national sales meeting that we just had in Vegas. Talk to us about, he's the director of vendor relations for those of you who don't know, and disaster relief. So that was even really cool. But it's a huge partnership, and we do this together, and I work closely with a lot of you in the office, but I'll tell you a little bit about why people in your office keep choosing Home Warranty of America and why I want to help you choose Home Warranty of America. So first of all, we are a 13-month home warranty company, so your buyers are going to get 13 months worth of coverage off the bat. We do have a designated concierge team for realtors only. And what does that mean to you? It is a 1-800 number that is going to give you direct access to the same claims managers I deal with. So when you're fretting because your client doesn't have AC and I'm sitting in a 4-hour class or on a property tour and can't answer my phone, you can call my managers. They will help you with the same customer service level that you would expect from me. And not only that, I am available to also intervene and assist. I've been with Home Warranty of America for 7 years now. And the reason I point that out, because I want to be part of your team. And in doing so, that doesn't just mean being up front when the product is sold, or answering your clients why, or how can I, or why should I choose this company versus another. I'm there through the whole process in case they have questions that they need. HWA wants to help grow your business. So part of using HWA, we automatically have free tools that we give to you so that you can continue to have your name in front of your clients. So during that 13-month policy, when you are giving your information and you are listed as a referring agent, and I say that because in this area we get a lot of title companies that order for you, but when you're listed, we're letting you know when we've saved your clients money, which means it gives you a free touch point. We're letting your clients know helpful tips, and every time we're sending them that piece on a helpful tip, we're telling them at the bottom, don't forget to call Megan Turnipseed with Keller Williams, and here's your phone number if you know of anybody buying or selling. Now, I'm sure Megan would love all those, but actually it's designed for you specifically. So everybody has everybody.
How much did
gets
you
that.
pay her, Megan?
So we have that. We have the free seller's coverage for you to utilize in your listing presentations. It is a marketing tool that we offer to you for you to offer to your clients. It is free. You can add the HVAC on for $50, which is due and payable at closing, but it's going to give you a limited version of our buyer's policy at no cost to the seller. The intention with that is that it's also going to go over to the buyer. We want to convert it and save your seller from post-sale liability issues. 3 plans to choose from: Gold, Diamond, Marquee, $475, $550, and it's going to be $600. I'm going to have my brochure stand set up, so I didn't want to have to give y'all too much stuff. This is my actual brochure for your clients. My contact information with my picture is branded on the front of them, so you can give this to them and say, here's your local rep and here's how she can assist you. What I love about our 3 plans, there's only one trade call fee. Don't make it complicated for your clients when they're trying to figure out what plan should I go with, but I really want this one, but this costs more than this one down here, and this one costs $50. It's $75 right across the board, all 3 plans. So those are some of the highlights and features that I really like to point out about HWA. We don't have a waiting period. Your clients can start filing claims the day of closing and funding. We do cover unknown pre-existing conditions. Some of the highlights: kitchen refrigerator with washer and dryer automatically included in our Diamond plan. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. I highly suggest you start looking at that plan first when you're thinking of what to write in your contract for your clients. So go with that one at least. As we all know, they're designed to save your clients money, not eliminate cost of repair. So the better coverage they have, the more it's going to save them. Okay, so on the piece of paper that Scott gave you, we have a little over 2.5 or 3 weeks left of HWA's holiday promo. Your clients, every buyer has their choice of one of 7 free add-ons. It does not have to close by December 31st. You just have to have your home warranty ordered by December 31st. So if you're looking at houses right now that have septic or well, free. That's one of their choices. We do have the Energy Efficient Green Plus, that's an add-on. External water line, which is huge. Hardly any companies even offer that, let alone for free right now, because it takes care of them from the house to the street. Keep that in mind. When you're doing this, if you're ordering with Home Warranty of America and you want your title company to order it for you, CC me and just let me know. Let's make sure we get your promo included. What a better way to give your client something like at Christmas time other than free additional coverage and a free additional month. Just put that out there. Anyone have any questions for me? Okay, did we collect cards for your doorbells?
Got them right here.
Yes. Let's see who's going to be the lucky winner. I love HEB. They do this stuff for me all the time. Julie Jones. Here is your microphone back.
Thank you.
I can't be a DJ, so I'll get it back to you. But I will give this to Julie and let y'all wrap up, and I'll come join y'all out there and get everything situated for lunch.
All right, let's give it up for Amber. Thank you. All right, so Christmas party, Thursday night. We're going to have prizes there. Our team meeting next week, we're also going to have some pretty awesome prizes at our team meeting next week as well. That's going to be my version of our White Elephant team meeting, so that may be what you're thinking. You guys don't have to bring gifts. These are all going to be gifts that I have found, and I'm going to share with you. So, what's that?
White Elephant gifts, that really makes us want to be
Oh, there's some pretty good stuff in it, for sure. So y'all have a wonderful day. It's great to see you, and we'll see you on Thursday night and tomorrow at our Tech Roadshow. Have a good day. Yes. Oh, my pleasure.